The housing crisis spares no one. Renters, buyers, owners. Some families are facing the tough choices and consequences dumped on them by the economy, rising inflation, high interest rates, and the Fed pushing for softening and pain inflicted on businesses and families. Some struggle to get by. Others forced to face the pain, heartbreak, social stigma, and shame of failure and being forced out and evicted, having to rely on shelters, maybe friends or family, or just moving into their cars, trucks, or vans to live full time until there is some kind of help that arrives. But that help is about as likely to come as wishing for a miracle to be delivered by our government to come save us. Odds are not in our favor. And thus, the skyrocketing cost of shelter is forcing families to leave their homes, further adding difficulty for hardworking, working class, middle class families, retirees, and seniors to maintain a decent quality of life and perhaps live to see a fortune of wealth built rather than savings accounts depleted. And for those who are still in a position now to take control of their finances and prevent the rise in prices and the harsh complexities of the economy that can potentially wipe out families, there are simple and easy steps that we can take. Earn more money, spend less than we make, budget wisely and precisely, eliminate high interest consumer debt, and invest and grow so our money is worth more and can continue to work and bring back more money for us to have in the future. And when working towards building wealth, Forbes recommends you spend your time learning how to build wealth, which requires you to make an investing plan and adopt a long-term mindset. Following simple steps to get started building sustainable wealth include making a plan, make a budget and stick to it, build up your emergency fund, automate paying off debt, saving and investing, max out retirement savings, stay diversified, and continue to increase your earnings. And it would be very difficult to argue that right now is no time better than ever to start making much better financial decisions that some may have possibly been making in the past, just to keep up with the rate of inflation and provide life's basic necessities: food, water, air, clothing, sleep, and shelter. These are the essential needs that psychologists say must be met for human survival. Yet, shelter, something as simple as, included in the American dream, has never been more elusive. There is a housing crisis in America, and more particularly South Florida. It doesn't matter if you're a homeowner or a seller or just somebody trying to keep the home they currently own. And there are new concerns on the condominium front since the collapse of a high-rise in Surfside last summer. The residents impacted the most are those who can least afford it, the renters. Monthly rent has gone up by hundreds of dollars a month, forcing some to move or take on roommates. Some have been forced to live out of their cars or couch hop. And there is a growing concern that there will be not enough housing for essential workers, police officers, teachers, or other people who cook your food at restaurants and fast food staples, affecting seniors in Florida who once thought that the place they called home and where they rest their heads at night would have been where they thought they would have settled for the rest of their lives. Instead, senior citizens were forced to move after many said their rent went up 3 times in the past year, packing up pots and pans and filling boxes with years of memories. And one Florida senior citizen, Tom Palambo, said, "What am I going to do? End up in my car?" At nearly 80, I don't know. It's sad. As his eyes welled up with tears, folks, Tom doesn't know what the next few months will look like, and he survives off of a small disability check. He's been living month to month in a studio apartment in Port St. Lucie for the past 3 years. And according to a report from the real estate website Redfin, across the country, rents increased by 14% at the end of 2021, which is the biggest jump in more than 2 years. In the past year, rents skyrocketed in South Florida and were the highest increases in the country. According to Redfin, rents increased 36% in West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. Meanwhile, a single mom who was raising her 3 kids in a 3-bedroom apartment in West Boca Raton said, everything that's a 3-bedroom apartment that was $2,000 last year is $4,000 or $5,000 now. So there's just nowhere to go. Her lease is coming up for renewal, and she says her rent is about to be increased by about 50%, and said it's not just out of control, but egregious. It's just like people don't matter. Families don't matter. And even State Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith out of Orlando said, right now in Florida, we're in a state of housing affordability crisis. So according to West Palm Beach News 5, the price of living in paradise is potentially pushing out middle-class workforce. The average waiter or waitress living and working in the city is spending 75% of their salary on rent. Registered nurses are spending 27% of their annual salary on renting a 1-bedroom in West Palm Beach, while elementary school teachers are spending 36% of their salary on rent. There's a pizza restaurant in West Palm Beach called Hot Pie Pizza, and the owner said, even though we give the employees a higher salary, it's eaten alive with all the increases. And so the result is that it is becoming harder for business owners to retain employees. Now, he said that if he can't or she can't afford to live in the surrounding area, the worker will then break to a new market and try to go further north or wherever it's less expensive. And this housing affordability crisis is even affecting nonprofit organizations who are struggling to find workers. And it basically boils down to this simple fact. If you can't afford to get a high-paying job in Palm Beach County, you won't live here. And the Fed is incentivizing more institutional buyers to enter into the housing market in areas like South Florida, paying cash for properties that other prospective buyers can't afford now with the higher mortgage interest rates pushed by the Fed. And Redfin looked at Palm Beach County and found in the third quarter of 2021, investors bought over 1,300 homes, 15.4% of the home sales, which was an 8% hike from the year before. According to Florida Realtors, cash sales for homes in Palm Beach County rose over 29% last year, rising to 40% in 2021, up from 31.5% in 2020. Institutions and hedge funds started buying up homes in large numbers in 2011 during the last foreclosure crisis, snapping up homes, fixing them, and creating a rental industry. And in the third quarter of 2021, they said investors buying homes was at over 90,000 homes nationwide, up 80% from a year ago. And nearly 3 out of 4 were single-family homes. Residents and neighbors, some rental tenants are saying that they, the investors, just want to buy homes at the best possible price they can. They want to fix them up, and they want to put them on the market for renting as soon as possible. Some of whom outbidding and overpaying only to gain greater control and create a monopoly on the real estate rental market and monthly lease rental pricing. And this isn't only happening in sunny South Florida. Renters continue to face struggles and are getting priced out with few affordable options to fall back on, further being forced to leave, relocate, and become displaced, only to fall back into the madness of this new rental crunch in some cities. So what is the solution? How do we maintain hope and work towards survival in this crazy, complicated, and complex economic collapse planned for so many and being executed by so many more on a daily basis? It's very simple. Follow the basic principles of financial independence, savings and investing, and wealth building. Earn more money, spend less than we make, budget wisely and precisely, eliminate high interest revolving consumer debt, and invest and grow so our money is worth more and can continue to work and bring back more money for us to have in the future. And if you want to know more, feel free to contact me directly. All my links are in the description. Until next time, folks, you guys take care, be safe,